Welcome to the Lost Lowdown, podcast 132, with your hosts, Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
We are back, continuing our season 3 commentary series with episode 302, The Glass Ballerina.
Yes.
Insert sound of glass breaking.
We've all been waiting for this one. Sit down, kids. This is going to be a long one.
Was this How I Met Your Mother?
Yes. It all started with a glass ballerina.
It all started with one horrible little girl named Sun.
So horrible. She started with this lie, and then she just kept lying and lying and lying.
Lying. Yeah, you know what? There it is, right? Kate was born to run, Sun was born to lie.
Yeah. It's a really strange thing to tell us about her at this point, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so far, I feel like she's been the more sympathetic of the two characters. Like Jen has come a long way since the pilot, but in general, Sun was the one who was running away. She was more the victim in the situation, and so like, it's weird how it turned around, and suddenly it's like,
and she was the one who was hiding something during that time too, right? Because people didn't know she could speak English.
right,
So she's being actively deceptive, where
yeah,
Jin's just being Jin.
right. Yeah, and it kind of shifts where like she becomes the one who's the more, the more deceptive, like you
Yeah.
said, and he's the nice one.
Yeah, they really do flip it, and I mean, we know where Sun goes after this. I mean, she is a Pike after all, and
Yeah,
her dad's a hardened criminal businessman,
yeah,
and her. I think Sun's sort of pinnacle in her character arc, the zenith there, I think is when she shows up to Widmore on the
yeah,
street. And she's badass Sun, and it's almost like she's gonna whip out a sword and like you don't really. It's almost like she could do anything in that moment, and you would buy it.
yeah,
She could just do something really out of character, but it feels like she could pull it off, and she had earned that somehow.
yeah.
And yeah, that's an interesting kind of direction. From they're paying off that setup of her being the innocent one.
Yeah, I remember when I saw that scene, like it blew my mind. Like Sun is confronting Widmore.
Yeah, the Widmore, who is the baddest guy on the show, she
Yes.
just walk up to him like in broad daylight and threaten him.
And she's like, I got a proposition, and it's like, what? And
Mm-hmm.
it was, yeah. I mean, just the idea of it, and we didn't really know exactly where that was going, and it was a really great cliffhanger. I mean, when Lost is good, they're really good at producing those things where it's like, oh my God, what is she gonna be doing?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
and
That's what I
also,
wondered.
yeah. And also in Lost fashion, the eventual answer was disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
She was just gonna go like try to quote unquote kill Ben, but then he manages to convince her to not kill him and just go back to the island, and then her story kind of disappears, and she just becomes like, there is Jin robot.
Then it's back to reuniting with Jin, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's just, I am looking for Jin. Where's my husband? Have you seen my husband?
Mm-hmm.
And she never really gets out of that mode until like the second before she's dead. once they reunite,
A little late.
which is really late. Takes forever. So yeah, I feel like it's too bad because it was potentially an interesting turn for a character, but it just kind of devolved. Like
Mm-hmm.
it didn't really um crystallize. Like it was cool at first. I remember when she knocked out Ben with the oar,
Yeah.
and like sort of took charge, and she was like, all right, let's go to the barracks and look for Jin, and it's like, okay, she's being proactive. But
Mm-hmm.
it kind of went away, and she was just kind of following along at a certain point and just asking random people if they've seen Jin.
Yeah, she kind of ran out of steam there, and she was a little directionless by the end there. It almost felt like the writers were, pulling the reins on her character finding Jen.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a lot of issues with that part of the season, but yeah, it's interesting. I think what you really see is when she was really good and that kind of and with those kind of more active character traits, it's when she was fueled trying to find Jin. So
Yeah.
that really took her to the next level.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. I mean, that was always the motivation, but when it just turned into I'm gonna just start asking people if they've seen him,
Hmm.
and then I think the thing when you really know like they've run out of shit for a character is when they make them unable to speak.
When they have nothing left for the character to say and the character literally can't say anything, is that what you
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's like, okay, can you just like shut up for a few episodes?
like? We can't even stand you asking people about Jin, so just shut up.
Yeah, like that's what it feels like because it's such a contrivance. I mean, they got so little out of it, and it was like I don't even know. She hit a tree and she forgot English. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah. Jack would have been like, this makes no medical sense.
yeah,
This has never happened before. This is just pure nonsense.
exactly. And then she gets reunited, and it comes, and she blames the man in black for it, and it's just like,
Hmm.
is she even right? I mean, that was his famous line. I didn't do nothing to
Yeah,
you.
I didn't run into that tree. Yeah, sure.
And it's like did I guess not. I mean, it was just some weird fluke
He,
thing.
but then again, he also doesn't take credit for anything people attribute to
That's
him,
true.
including and most prominently his nature of evil.
True. That's very true.
But so he never was like, oh no, that thing was really me, except who did he? Oh, he did tell Jack, right? He told Jack about talking to him, or did I make that up?
What do you mean? Oh, yeah. When Jack asked him about Christian,
No,
you mean?
seeing the dad. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. He did say that was me. That's true.
yeah. So
And
that's
and he also admitted to being the smoke monster.
yeah. Oh, those are like the two things. Yeah,
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, he definitely liked to deny as much as possible, or at least plead ignorance.
yeah.
Like
That was I don't. Yeah, she just can't talk, and then yeah, huh?
it really felt like once they were separated. I mean, once she came back, and the rest of the story was progressing, like they just didn't have story for her until they
Hmm.
reunited, and even then they didn't have much story for her except to die.
Oh,
you know so it was sort of like their story was complete once they were separated, basically, and it
it
was
was
just
basically like yeah. The she has got three last. Once they're separated, her next beat is get to the island,
yeah,
look for Jin, find Jin, die.
yeah,
Like was nothing else outside of that.
that's it. Yeah, exactly. And I think that was just a bit flimsy for like 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Like I think she kind of gets pushed to the side because of that. I think I think Jen somehow fares a little better. It feels like he gets a little
Well, 'cause
more.
he gets to go to the 70s.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it helps that he's in the 70s, and he gets involved with some of the other plots. Like it feels like he's a little more, I don't know, involved in the general story. Whereas Sun feels like she's always standing on the outskirts, just like asking about Jin, but not really participating.
Hmm.
You know,
Yeah.
like she's just kind of sitting there at the statue, like she doesn't really do anything.
Yeah.
And then she's just kind of sitting there at the camp, and just sort of waiting. you know like, do you know where Jet is? No. Okay, well, never mind. So yeah, it's but I mean, in the early days they had, and right now we're the period we're in, I mean, they had stuff. I think they had more dynamics to the whole relationship. Like
Hmm.
it started off with the English thing and the reveals about she was going to run away, and Jin's job and stuff like that, and I think what they've introduced last season, what they're doing now is that she's maybe had an affair and she's pregnant,
Yeah.
and so I think those things are going to be um they'll be the big focus this season. And then after that, you know, they they get separated,
Hmm.
and and then the story continues from there. But I think I feel like they had a little better. I mean, they planned for Sun and Jin episodes, and um uh so they gave them maybe more story, and it seemed like in season 6, like they just didn't really fit into their plans, like
Yeah.
like Jin's story.
Well, don't forget there's less episodes, right? By this point.
Yeah, that's true. So I guess that's part of what they cut, maybe in the later seasons, is like that stuff. Because like in Jin's story in season 6, like Widmar kidnaps him from the Man in Black camp and like takes him into a room, and he's like, tell me about these electromagnetic sites or something, But that goes nowhere, you know.
Yeah.
Like there's no second part to that story. That was just kind of filler.
Well, and it's like if we had more episodes that season, it seems like it's pretty obvious they're trying to find the light cave or something like that,
Yeah.
and but it's kind of like they have no time to get to that actual point, to even really connect the dot. They just set up those dots, but didn't even connect it. Of like, well, here's the pocket that they're looking for,
Right.
or one of the things, the one of the pockets, the location of a pocket is the same location as the light cave. Okay, we
Right.
get it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. They almost sort of said that.
Yeah. I
But
remember what's her name with the glasses coming
mhm.
in, literally interrupting that scene about about the map and the pockets, and it's like,
Yep.
okay, well, it's the end of that story.
Yeah. Yeah. And they never bring it up again. It's never a thing.
Yeah,
That was just that it was just kind of time filler. And yeah, and then
it almost seems like they were trying to also support what they're doing with Desmond.
mhm.
What Whitmore and the team is doing with Desmond, but
Yeah.
it was almost like to give Widmore another reason to come to the island, but the problem with that is Jacob gave him a reason,
Right.
and it's kind of so it's almost like they wanted him to have like a selfish classic Widmore reason to come to the island, which is investigate these pockets,
Mhm.
and the other reason is Jacob told him to come, and he's got to
Right.
do this with Desmond, and it just got muddled.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. And I mean yeah. They were vague about Widmore anyway. I mean,
See, sorry to go. What's the one thing about that map? At another show, you know what would have happened?
what would have happened?
What would have happened was, we have all the setup. Widmore is putting Desert in the machine, and he's shocking him with electromagnetism, and then like Widmore is interrogating Jin about the locations of the energy and stuff like that. So what would have happened was like it would have been like a little bit later after this. Desmond escapes. He's at the light cave or something, and like Jack is trying to find where he is, and then Jin's like, I got this map with pockets of energy. Try this spot. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like that map would have come in handy. Jin's knowledge and research of the area, because that's what he was doing, making that map when he was in the 70s, would have like been the bridge, a story bridge between what somebody wanted and them getting that goal.
Yeah.
So Jack getting to that location in time to help Desmond, or what, or Jack finding where Locke is gonna be, so he can beat him up at the, something like that. Like it would have, another show would have made that not just a passing thing. It would have actually, mattered.
Yeah. Yeah. But instead, Jacob just tells him where it is, and then like it was kind of awkward. Like
That's easy, at least.
yeah. And then they run into Man in Black, who has Desmond on the way, and they're like, well, why don't we just go together? Like
Hmm.
it was kind of awkward.
It's like a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. It's just like this almost comedic,
Yeah.
like happenstance. You'll never guess who I ran into on the way to the light cave.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And they're like, well, we're all going to the same place. And it's like, yeah, but like your
For different
enemies, I mean,
reasons. Yeah, for different reasons, and to annihilate each other. Like,
yeah.
Don't forget that part.
Yeah, exactly. And it's sort of like I guess they had to do it to make the story work, but it felt very clunky. It was very strange. I agree. I would have liked that better if they drew in that detail and they made like the search for the cave more suspenseful
Hmm.
instead of just like, oh yeah, it's there. Just
It's
go
over
over
there.
there. It's
Yeah.
he's just like, yeah, it's that bamboo where you landed when you crashed. Like, okay, well,
Yeah, if it was a snake, it would have bit me, right? It was one of those. Again, I want to blame Lindelof. That we gotta call. Maybe that's a Lindeloffian. His name doesn't work well for these, but that kind of like that the story turn where it's you think one thing or you didn't know something and it turns out you should have known or it should have been obvious, like that whole thing of, oh, the biggest most important location on the island, yeah, that's where you woke up in the pilot.
hmm
Why didn't you think that? Why didn't you guess that? God, that's such a weird thing, but it happens
yeah,
all the time.
yeah, you're right. That
It
is a
reminds me of
classic thing.
spoiler alert if you have not seen the movie Cube, the 1997 Canadian classic
If you
sci-fi.
haven't seen it by now, I just I give up.
Yeah. Uh,
Come on. Come on. Pause this podcast and go watch Cube.
we'll wait.
We'll wait. It's okay.
Waiting. Still
Are you
waiting.
done yet?
God, was taking so long.
It's a short movie.
Yeah, it's good. So what
They
I was
were
gonna
dead the
say,
whole time. Spoiler alert.
just gonna say they were dead the whole time. No, the comparison I was gonna draw was that is the reveal in Cube. Really is that the whole point of Cube is these people wake up in this system of cubes within a larger cube, and the smaller cube rooms that they're in are not only booby trapped, but they're all moving around in this giant interconnected lattice system, and all the cubes are kind of have these serial numbers, and there's this whole mathematical formula to figure out where a cube's going to be when, and they're trying to figure out where the exit is, and and how to navigate the cubes that are constantly moving and all this stuff. It's a really interesting movie, but the sort of ironic twist, and what the ending is, the cube that they first woke up in is a cube that leads to the exit. So if they would have just stayed put from the beginning of the movie, nobody would have died, and they would have gotten to the exit.
Yeah.
So that just reminds me of Jack waking up and the place he's going to end up dying, and
Yeah.
the place that ends up being, kind of like the salvation.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's. I would say it's a pretty common theme, like that the loop, circling back to where it started in the end. Like I
Hmm.
think I think that's a lot of stories like to do that. I can think of others that I don't want to spoil,
Oh God.
but
There's a story that starts with the apotheosis of deserts and then ends with the apotheosis of deserts. I'm gonna be spoiled, if that's what you're alluding to.
that may not be it. There are many stories like that.
All right, all right. Um, yeah. So anyway, what were we talking about?
Uh, I don't know.
The
Lost?
Glass Ballerina.
Glass Ballerina? Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Glass Ballerina. Um, yeah, uh, I mean, like the first episode was not bad, I would say. I mean, I think it was
Yeah.
pretty interesting, and
No, good start to season 3, I think.
like, yeah, I mean, the opening was spectacular. Like, it really shifted our perspective on the others, and
Hmm.
that was really cool. And showing us their perspective, like on the crash, like that was a big deal at the time.
That was huge.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, and that was the first time we saw the plane break up like that.
that's true. That's true. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, and like to see Ethan and Goodwin get sent out and stuff.
Ethan doing the plumbing, he's just a regular guy like you and me. He's not superhuman. Why would you think so?
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, and yeah, they're just having book clubs and stuff, and the episode itself, the whole thing with the Hydra and the cages and Ben being weird and Juliet and
Yeah, their whole you're not really understanding Ben and Juliet's relationship because they're on the same team, but they're also
hmm
adversarial.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's and also Jack's flashback, like Jack being a kind of crazy stalker, like violent outburst drunk
Hmm.
guy, like really heading towards the finale. Like I think that's probably one of the cooler things about the season, like
Yeah, that's
the way they set up the flash forward by
yeah.
showing him acting like that in the flashbacks.
Yeah, that was actually really smart because when we see him at the bottom of a whiskey bottle or whatever, like we get it, we because we got a taste of that
Yeah,
of that like
yeah,
desperate Jack, the desperate like melancholy Jack.
exactly. And I feel like we haven't seen as much of that in the previous flashbacks with him.
Hmm.
Like, not that he's been happy in his previous flashbacks, but I feel like his problems haven't gone as extreme,
Yeah.
you know, before. And like he really is turning into Christian in a way,
Hmm.
and you see he has some of the same patterns of
Yeah.
behavior that Christian has, and yeah, they take it to another level. And so, yeah, I think it makes it really sells the deception, because I think if we were used to the other kind of Jack flashbacks, the flash forward would seem jarring, and it might
Hmm.
make us suspect that something's going on, like this, something's weird about this flashback. But
We would have had a conspiracy theory or crackpot theory about what changed because Jack was never like this before. Well,
yeah,
something happened in the past. We would have tried to fill in that gap. And it's not
exactly.
just about the island; it's something. But and I think you could say, Jack would have been an alcoholic if it weren't for the fact his dad was.
hmm
So Christian kind of pushed him off of that path a bit. Sort of maybe his a natural inclination a bit because he didn't want to be like his dad.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
but you see that if he's pushed far enough, then yeah, he will go down that road.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Under situations of extreme stress, and of course we find out that some of that was true of Christian as well. Like
Hmm.
he is pushed back into drinking by Jack's outburst.
Yeah.
So it's they have a lot in common. And yeah, it was an interesting realization. So I mean, the flashback, the island story, the initial scene, like all of that was very good. And so we have high hopes coming into this episode.
Yeah, it's the second episode of the season. It's got to be great, right?
Yeah,
Action packed extravaganza.
yeah, exactly. Like I can't wait. I can't wait. What could go wrong? The Glass Ballerina. Ooh, mysterious name. What could that mean?
Yeah, who is the glass ballerina and what does she have to do with the island?
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely gonna be a mystery on the island. We're gonna have to decode the Glass Ballerina in order to solve the mystery of the island.
Oh man, we had such high hopes.
We did. We were foolish back then.
Yeah.
Should have known it would be something like this.
Oh man,
Much more
yeah.
reasonable.
So I remember Jenny joined us on this podcast, right?
Uh, yes, that's correct.
Was this the first one she was on?
It must have been because
Yeah,
this is
yeah,
super early in season 3, and
yeah.
I know she wasn't in season 2.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, okay. So this, yeah. So yeah, I remember it coming on. I think she made a joke about like it was she was glad to be on the worst episode so far or something. Like uh,
Yep, yep,
it was a great one.
yeah, yeah. It was not. I still think the next one is actually worse,
Mm,
but that's just because it's like one of the worst episodes ever. But yeah, this one isn't great either, as I recall. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I was surprised last season with the whole truth. Like the whole truth was
yeah,
better than I remembered.
yeah,
So you never know. Fire Plus Water was not much better,
no,
but
yeah, I agree.
but yeah, sometimes with age, it somehow doesn't look as bad as it did at the time. Sometimes there's
Yeah,
hidden gems. I don't really think that's going to happen, but I'm just saying it's possible.
yeah, there are, and there's sometimes at this point you can kind of get different things out of a scene or an episode when you don't have to place as much and expectations or emphasis on them. You go, okay, well I know where this storyline goes, so I can just enjoy this scene, and it could just be a nice scene and not like
Right.
you're upset because it didn't answer a question or something.
Deliver something. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, I mean, in the old days, you wanted episodes that addressed like the interesting mysteries.
yeah.
Like that was the key. And like this episode is mostly just about, dealing with the aftermath of finding the Thatch and the Famp, and th- there's a brief conflict with the others, but it's actually, I mean, I guess the main thing that this episode accomplishes, as I recall, is Sun shooting Colleen at the end,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and that ends up being a big turning point in the story for Pickett and Sawyer and all that stuff.
That's true. Yeah, that was a whole can of worms there.
Yeah, so I think like in terms of the plot, that's the main thing that's accomplished. But otherwise, it's just kind of business. Like it doesn't really matter. Like Ben's gonna say his famous line, "I want that boat," but like he
Gotta get
doesn't
that boat.
he doesn't really want that boat. Like he doesn't have any interest in that boat. There's not
He
scenes.
can leave the island anytime he wants. He's got a submarine. Yeah,
Exactly.
it's not about the boat.
It's not a good idea to leave with a boat, really. Like it's a lot less like maneuverable and
Yeah,
fast and stuff like that.
slower.
Yeah, exactly. So there's no, so like he says he wants that boat, but he never talks about the boat again. Like the boat is not like present in his mind. I mean, who's talking about the boat like ever after that? In fact, if I remember correctly, and we'll see if I'm right about this, I don't think the boat comes up again after this episode until uh until season 6, when they actually
When he's
get
trying to
the
leave.
boat again.
Yeah,
They actually recover it and they use it to sail to Hydra Island.
yeah. I think that was it.
Because like it doesn't. I mean, no one cares. The others aren't like, oh, now we have a boat. We're gonna like really this.
Hmm.
Now we're gonna win because we have a boat.
Yeah.
Like
I
it's
guess. Well, and I guess you could say. I mean, I guess you could say he just doesn't want them to have it. But
yeah,
besides that, the implication is he wants it for himself to use it, which is not true.
yeah. No,
Yeah. So
I think you're right. I think the main thing is he doesn't want them to have it, but it,
even though, wait, but even though it's, I mean, obviously this is just part of the story, but it's like he also should know, and he does know that they can't navigate without the right
yeah,
course anyway. So it doesn't matter if they have a boat because
right.
Desmond tried to use it, he didn't go anywhere. So it's not, it's weird because it would make sense he does, the boat and threatens, if somebody leaves they can bring people back, which they can't.
Hmm.
But we believe that, we believe, okay, all these ideas that Ben might have are true, but it's really he doesn't want anybody to have it,
Yeah.
and that's it, not for a lot of good reasons.
But it's true that we don't know most of that at this point.
Yeah, we don't know that stuff.
So yeah, all those things are still plausible. And so yeah, it seems to make more sense. But then like that plot just dies because really from his point of view, he doesn't really care much about the boat. Like
Yeah.
it's not a great weapon for them, and it doesn't really do him any good either. It's just kind of like, let's get the boat out of the way so we don't have to keep talking about the boat later.
Yeah, I think that's part of it too. Just logistical writing.
Yeah, exactly. Like if they sail back to the camp with the boat, then there's going to be a boat there.
Then we have to have a boat all the time,
Yeah.
and that production costs, and then
Exactly.
there's people want to take the boat out. People want to go on the boat. People
They're
want
going to
to.
have to address it. I mean, if they have permanent access to a boat, there's going to be
Yeah.
boating.
Yeah. Yeah. There's the golfing scene, the playing card scene, and now the boating scene.
Exactly. Exactly. It's unavoidable.
Yeah. So they avoided it.
So they avoided it. No, I thought it's if the boat's there, it's unavoidable.
I know. Just
I know you know, but I felt the need to explain.
the way English works, you can make a sentence like that work, and it doesn't make sense, or it makes two different kinds of sense.
That's true. Two different kinds of sense. English.
More kinds of sense than you need. All the other languages is like, we just need one kind of sense. It's simple.
It works just fine with one.
But we have
It's
two.
like kidneys. You know, you can remove one. It's fine. You'll barely notice.
Because two makes it better, not worse.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying.
I guess you have to pee more. It's okay though.
You have to be more when you have one.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
That's the downside. But it's not that bad.
We're saying one is more better. We're saying one is better, not worse.
Oh shit! Did I get it wrong?
Kidneys one is worse.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking one was the better one.
No, because one is simple and language should be simple, but we're
Oh
saying.
no! Yeah, I was taking the point of view of other languages, saying it was better.
Yes.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's kidney though, because one kidney's worse.
Yeah, I know it's worse, but it's not much worse. That's my point.
Okay.
I'm mostly joking.
Mostly. Well, I'll guess the percent later, and you tell me if I'm right.
I do realize that having two kidneys is better. Don't worry. Please don't flood our email with information about kidneys.
We don't need the two kidney lobby to be emailing us here.
I understand that it serves a function. I really do. The appendix. It's like the appendix. You can just pop it out. Don't even notice the difference.
Is that really?
And no one knows what it does.
And that's just like English.
And that's like English.
Pop it out.
No, it's the second sense, because we have the two senses, and it's the second sense is the appendix.
Sweaty here, man. This is getting pretty sweaty.
Yeah. I know.
The second sense is like a kidney, which is just like English. All right, you heard it first, folks, from the Lost Lowdown. We got the scoop.
I need to work on my metaphors. Clearly. I'll have a good one for you next time. Don't worry.
All right, you better come correct.
That's a promise.
That metaphor.
I'm gonna come out right out of the gate with a awesome metaphor.
Boom.
It's gonna be relevant to the episode and to a current news story.
Wow, you're studying your stuff.
Oh my God! Do you remember when in the old days when your call would drop and I would go read the news?
Yeah.
In the.
You know what's strange about that is I have a very particular perspective on that because I never really ever heard what you did because I was busy trying to dial back in, whereas the listeners of course you heard because you said it.
Yeah.
And I didn't. I don't listen. We don't listen to all of our podcasts, so like,
right.
I never really heard everything. I would come on and you would tell me what you said, and I would just laugh. And
yeah.
So I'm like the only person who doesn't actually have the full experience of that.
Well, I know what I said, unfortunately, and yeah, everyone else does. But yeah, it was just such a weird way to fill the time. Mm-hmm. I would just pull up Google News and read the first thing that looked interesting.
I remember something about Madonna one time.
Yeah. And I know it made me look really uninformed because I would read something really obvious.
Yeah.
And I would be like, "What? When did that happen? What do you mean a Malaysian plane disappeared?" No one told me about that.
No one told you about that?
I don't watch CNN.
Who does?
Nobody. Nobody should.
Did you what was I gonna say? No, I was gonna say, yeah, that was a nice way to fill the time, and I think it was nice that we thought of something somewhat creative to do because the call was going to inevitably drop. That was the
Hmm.
whole thing.
Yeah,
So
it was. I remember it was your phone, right? Like
yeah,
it.
I think it literally.
It was some specific interval, right? It was like
I'm sure
1 hour, 27 minutes, and 32 seconds or something. It would
no,
always.
it was longer than that.
It
It
was
was like
longer.
3 hours. It was 3 hours and
It was three
something, but
hours. Oh, okay. I thought it was less. Okay.
no, I'm pretty sure it was. I think
But
it was
wasn't it
that.
really specific? Wasn't it like
But
down to
all
the
the
minute?
literally, it was like I think down to the minute of the second, like
Yeah.
3 hours, 48 minutes, 12 seconds. My phone
Yeah.
was gonna cut off. Like and it wasn't about the power. It was just about the connection to the call would just stop, and I'd have to
Yeah.
just call again.
Yeah, that was so weird. And in those days, I mean, 3 hours was not sufficient for a podcast. We
I
needed
just like to
much.
tell the listeners, if you remember those days, you should pat yourself on the back because you've been listening a long time, and you need to console yourself for it. Congratulate yourself.
Yeah, well done, well done.
Yeah.
I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I'm impressed we're still here too, actually.
I'm not that impressed. That's
we're,
mostly because I know us.
we're not that impressive. Yeah, no, no, no. I'm
I've
just
been
well, not really impressed, but I'm amazed that this is still going on.
still hasn't ended, and we're only in season 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you about telling one of our mutual friends. She asked, I was telling her about our schedule of podcasting, and we're in different countries at this point, and all this
Hmm.
stuff. Our interval isn't as fast as we'd like it to be with podcasting, and it's like, yeah, at this rate, it'll be maybe 3 years before we get through this commentary series and get to 3 more seasons, 3 years. And I thought that was really reasonable, and she could not believe it. And it was like, and I remember telling you that story, and you're like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it could even be more at the rate we're going now, but possibly that rate will pick up.
I think it will pick up, and the season's about to get shorter after this one, so that's going
That's
to help
true.
a lot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So the intervals should become more frequent within the next year or so.
Yeah,
So you can look
but
forward to that.
you have that to look forward to.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Get ready. Get ready.
Thought you had nothing to do for the next year. Now you can look forward to the Lost Lowdown
It's
coming
gonna
out.
be fun. And let me tell, and you guys know this already. Those of you who are listening, every one of you knows what I'm gonna say already, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The the next 3 seasons are by far the most problematic seasons of the show. So I have a feeling there are going to be some longer episodes in there.
Longer commentary podcast. Yeah,
I think some of them, yes, because some of the biggest problems I have with the show, they're just barely getting started right now. But they really come into full force in season 4, I think.
I agree. There really aren't a lot of season 1 and 2. There's not a lot of big problems.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. It is. Well, I guess once you start time traveling, you're gonna open up a can of worms.
Big time. Yes.
But that doesn't help. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff. Yeah, once we start breaking some stuff down with those episodes, I'm sure they'll be longer.
Yeah, you're right. I think seasons 1 and 2 are like not problem free is not the right word because they do have problems, but they're less severe. They're less like brain cancer causing.
And I can't think of any that are really lingering. Like, oh, they really should have answered that, or I can't move on, or they really
Exactly.
moving the story because they didn't talk about. Like, it's not any big thing like that. They're way more structured, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the only things that are like that are the ones that connect to the later stuff.
The longer whole series.
Yeah. Stuff with the smoke monster, I mean, but that doesn't really that's because of what they did later that it's a problem.
Yeah.
Now it's not a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Because now, for all we know, the smoke monster is a security system. Or the smoke monster's nanobots, or the smoke monster is, I don't know, a judge of moral character, or, like, who knows? Like, it could be any number of things, and we have no reason to think that it's a Roman guy.
That would be my next guess. Turn of the century, turn of the millennia Roman.
Yes, exactly. Raised by a crazy lady and transformed into the smoke monster.
Duh.
Duh.
Story as old as time. Yeah. Babies. Pregnant woman washes up on shore. Pregnant woman gives birth to babies. Babies raised by a crazy woman who kills mother. Then boy becomes evil incarnate, and other boy. Uh,
Other boy becomes island protector, and I'm sure you can guess where it goes from there.
and the rest plays itself. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I mean, we're getting to those early stages, but even in season 3, I mean, the first trip to the cabin is is problematic, but only in light of what comes later, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like it's the way they do the shit later that
The,
always
the
ruins
pattern
it.
I'm sensing here is they get into trouble when they have to pay things off.
Yeah, 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 exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Setting things up, they're great at.
I'm really good at it. And
Yeah.
that's why we're here, you know.
Is that why we're here? Because I've been
Well,
asking myself for that for a long time. Is that it?
well, that I guess that's not the only reason. I mean, there is also this quality that we've this interesting way they have of being unsatisfying that draws me back in, you know. And I have to admit that's there too.
I feel like there's a great joke about that of just like, somebody in like a marriage and they really kind of just hate their spouse, but in this way where they'll never leave them.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, my wife is awful, but damn, I love her.
Mhm.
It's something weird like that,
Yeah.
like yeah, I really wish they'd change, but not really because I like this thing. I wish it was better, but even though
Yeah.
it sucks, it still works. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, I have nightmares. This isn't the right way to describe it, but I sometimes I wonder, like, what if Lost were the show that I sort of say that I want? What if
Hmm.
they perfectly resolved the cabin? What if the time travel story or the reason they needed to go back to the island, Jacob the Man in Black, what if all of that was like totally coherent? What if
Yeah.
Widmore, all of everything, like it all made sense, it all fit together, it all flowed perfectly. What if it were that show? You
Hmm.
know? Would I like it as much? Like, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I think the odds are greater than zero that it would be the reaction would be you like it more in a narrower way. I think I feel like that's kind of how I would. If it was
Yeah.
very well done, I would really respect the writing and the structure and how they set things up and pay things off, and it was really great and satisfying. And I've got no lingering questions, and I'm not gonna watch it anymore.
Yeah.
Because what's there? It's kind of just like a puzzle that was solved, and you look at the picture and then you move on. I think we're doing this puzzle has missing pieces and pieces from other puzzles, and we're trying to look
and
at
and
this.
a, and a half of a peanut butter sandwich and
Yeah, things that aren't even part of the puzzle are here, and it's like, and you keep standing back and trying to look at the picture and go, because you don't have the box to look at,
yeah.
so you're like, is this the picture? No, that doesn't look quite right. No, 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 that's not quite right, and you sit and toil to the end of time trying to finish that puzzle versus the puzzle you did have the box for that was perfectly structured.
Yeah.
You're done with and move on. So I feel like maybe a show
Yeah.
like 6 Feet Under. I
Hmm.
mean, you'd have to compare it to a mystery show, right, to
Right.
really get anything out of that. But
Yeah.
there's definitely been shows that have great writing, very well done. I have very little complaints about, and those aren't the shows that I necessarily go back and watch a
Yeah.
lot. So I think you're right. You it's not necessarily just a bad thing, this quality.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, as frustrating as it is, it's kind of it's compelling,
Hmm.
and it makes me want to come back.
It's
And
a schizophrenic idea, though. I think, and it's kind of got that energy to it, to where you're doing this thing you don't want to be doing. You
right.
don't want to be wrapped up in it, but you are.
Yeah. But there's a balance to it, because if it were too horrible, then I wouldn't care.
Yep.
So they managed to make it good enough that I like the show, but not like so perfectly constructed that like I have nothing to think about. you
Yeah.
know like they found some kind of crazy in between ground, where it's just the right balance where I could
S-
just talk about this show for fucking ever.
Some say it's an achievement of modern writing.
Yes.
Others say it's lost.
Exactly. Yeah, like
But-
I would put Breaking Bad in that category. Like
Great. Yeah.
shows where I feel like they were constructed more logically
Mhm.
and just in general like better.
Yeah.
But somehow I never want to go back. I feel it's the story's done. There's no big thing left. There's no reason to like worry about it. I can move on to other
Yeah.
things. I can move on with my life, but this show won't let me move on with my life.
It's like we're the ones stuck on the island, right? Like the show's not done with us. I feel like there should be some great saying in French about the thing I cannot leave undone or something.
Yeah.
It just you got to stick with it until you solve it, but you never will.
Yeah. Exactly, because you kind of can't. I mean,
Hmm.
absent like Damon and Carlton breaking every rule they ever set for themselves and just saying like, yeah, this is this and that's that, and
Hmm.
this storyline went like this because of this reason, and
Yeah. You
like,
mean heaven, paradise?
yes, yes, yes. I can't wait for the Lost expose book that they publish in like
Yeah.
20 like 87 or something. They probably won't be alive at that point, but anyway,
We
like,
won't care about Lost then.
yeah, no one will care.
It's busy battling like Terminators and shit. Sky
Yeah,
will be activated by then.
I went a little too late, but like
Yeah.
where they finally are like, because bands always say like, oh yeah, we're never gonna have that reunion tour because like that's
Hmm.
just selling out, and cut to like 15, 20 years later and they're totally
Yeah.
doing it. You
Yeah.
know, I feel like Damon and Carlton they'll say what they said, but like someday, and they've already done some lost functions,
Yeah.
even within the last year. you know so they haven't stopped talking about Lost, and
Hmm.
I have a feeling at some point we'll learn some more stuff. They'll finally let a few more things fly,
Yeah.
but I have a feeling that will not resolve all the problems.
No. No.
I think there will
They
always.
bring up new problems too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
might say something that contradicts like some theory that put to bed, put to
Hmm.
rest some idea, some idea on the show, and then we go, oh wait, we thought it was this thing, and we were
Yeah,
happy with that. Now they say it's this thing. Oh crap!
and
But then
that
that's
just.
that, and that changes this, and
Hmm.
yeah.
It just ruins the whole thing. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, every time I got access to anything from the writers' room, it was like it was treasure. It was like such an insight. And I recently got the script for the last episode, and like that
Oh,
was
nice.
really interesting to read because like it really tells you stuff that the show doesn't
Hmm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
Their scripts are all like that, and I put this out there for anyone, like if any of you people know where I could get some scripts for seasons 4, 5, and 6, I would be very, very, very happy to have them. I cannot find them. They don't seem to exist. The only ones I can find are seasons 1 and 2 and the final episode.
Wow.
It's really strange. There's just a hole. Like they had a bunch from the early days, but the later ones aren't there. And I really think reading them would provide some insight. Even though I'm sure again it wouldn't solve the problems.
I'm checking real quick because we can do this in real time. The only place that would have them, you wouldn't be able to copy them or get a digital version, but the Writers Guild library, if they don't have it, it does not exist. And I'm
Okay.
looking. I think I looked before because we talked about
Yeah,
this.
yeah, we did talk about this.
and I don't know what they had. I forget.
Yeah, I don't remember either.
Oh, they did. That's right. Didn't they? They had some. They had some from the later
I
seasons. Let
think
me.
you're right. I think they did have a few that I definitely remember.
Yeah, yeah. One, two, two. That's season two. Oh, Through the Looking Glass.
Ah, yeah, that's a good one.
Special.
Special. That's season 1, isn't it?
Is it
I
okay?
think so.
Special.
Yeah, that's the Walt
Is it
episode.
Walt. Okay, okay. He's
Yeah,
not in season four.
not much.
Uh, uh,
Briefly.
oh, and the pie. Okay, then the end. Oh no. Oh, the incident, part one and two. Okay.
Oh, that's good. That's excellent, actually.
And,
I really want to read that loophole scene.
oh yeah, flashes before your eyes, the constant,
Oh,
and
that's pretty good.
yeah. So those are kind of the ones they have in that era. So
Okay.
they have a couple, but that means
Yeah.
that like you can only see those in person and you can't make copies. So
Right, right, right.
fortunately,
Yeah,
so
but I could
that's a,
still cut to the key scenes.
yeah, yeah.
I wish they don't have any cabin episodes. Those bastards.
Oh wow.
The one they do have is the incident, which does have the final cabin scene.
Hmm.
So we could see what they say about that scene, which is just as problematic as the previous ones. So confusing. So confusing. He hasn't been here in a long time. Someone else has been using it. Oh, thanks, Alana. That's really specific.
Oh man, that did not help at all.
And that closes the chapter on the clear and coherent story of the cabin.
Hmm.
Oh, let's just burn it and be done with
Now
it.
I just burn it. Yep.
Why? Why do they even need to burn it? Why was that necessary? Like, was there something about the cabin like that if you used it, it somehow, I mean, it's just a cabin, right? Like, why did they
Hmm.
have to burn it?
I can tell you why the show burned it. I don't
I
know why
understand why the show
Alana burned
burned it.
it. I don't know why Alana did it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like in the story, I understand
Yeah,
like they don't want to go back, so they burn it, but
yeah,
like
yeah, exactly. So I don't. I mean, ew. Let me think. I'm thinking.
you have 30 seconds for an answer.
God, let me think. 30 seconds is good. Let me go. Can you play the Jeopardy music while I think, and
Of,
I'll.
of course.
Okay, let me go. Why did Alana burn the cabin? Oh,
Top
so
10 reasons.
I got one reason that I can pretty much buy myself, which is
Okay.
she didn't want whoever was using it potentially or presumably impersonating Jacob to be able to come back and do that again.
Okay.
So she didn't want it. She realized Jacob wasn't using it or wasn't there, so she didn't want whoever did that, who we know it was,
Yeah.
to do it again.
Okay. Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
considering the fact that that seemed to be a place that people who are of her kind or who follow Jacob knew about and knew
Yeah.
to find Jacob at, that she wanted to make sure people, if anyone else tried to do that, they wouldn't be fooled because it'd
Right.
be burned to the ground.
Right, right, right,
And I guess that person would assume Jacob was dead and kill themselves.
right. Which maybe is not what you wanted.
Not what she
Unintended
wanted.
consequences.
Yeah, consequences, which is basically what we like to refer to as seasons 4 through 6. Ouch!
Boom.
Take that.
Ouch.
Yeah, Kitty's got claws.
Touche. Oh my god.
Okay. It's pretty good. I think the pressure made me come up with something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it's a good explanation. I think you're right. I think that's probably what they were thinking.
Something like that, yeah.
But I bet the script says something a bit more about it. Because
Mhm.
usually in scenes like that, there's a lot of extra stuff that's like supposed to be subtext or something that isn't really clear.
Yeah, there's things that actors can't communicate, and there's things that you can't really get in the scene. There's nothing to see or hear, so you can't get it on film. But
Yeah.
but they put in the script.
Exactly. Exactly. They write a lot of stuff there. It's They're interesting to read. But yeah, also that lost writer's guide that we went over.
Hmm.
That was pretty insightful too for the early days, because it really showed like the genesis of a lot of the ideas that became really important later on.
I would love to get access to their ABC email accounts when they were on the show.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Let's just see what they were talking about as they were writing the show. Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Any hackers out there? Yikes! Is it illegal to solicit hacking over the
It's
podcast?
a good question. I don't know. Since
Because
I'm
I'm
out of the
not
country, I
doing
feel like
that.
I'm not subject to that.
If it is illegal or isn't, it doesn't matter because I'm not soliciting hackers to hack into Damon Lindelof and Carlton Keyes' email and search for the words lost and then forward it to me.
As someone who's not presently within the United States, I say that I am soliciting that. So please go ahead
Ooh.
and do it.
Wait, doesn't Switzerland have an extradition treaty with America? You better be
Oh
careful.
shit!
Better watch out, man.
All right, I rescind that solicitation.
Better know your local laws.
Just in case. Just in case. Hey, you
So,
never know.
speaking of local laws and extradition, you want to
Yes.
podcast about Glass Ballerina?
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. There's a lot of relevant stuff here. Good information if you want to know about such topics. You should turn on this episode instead of reading Wikipedia.
You should.
It's much more informative.
All right, let's get it going here because I think we just had an hour that was not about this episode.
Yeah, that did happen. All right.
All right, get your players ready, everybody, if you're going to sync up with this. And let's see here.
Okay. Just gonna wait for this thing to go. All right.
How am I going to do this? All right, you ready?
Yes.
Okay, I think I am almost ready. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Sorry, I'm doing this weird headset thing, and it's. I guess this will work. All right.
Okay.
All right. Here we go.
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Saeed was 100% right.
Ha! Yeah, you are.
Look at that trap.
All kinds of trap.
Force field.
Love the force field.
I feel like it's not impossible on Lost to have a force field.
No, they had a sonic barrier. That's
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's close. It's really
Yep.
close. Like, there's another version they could have that.
The
So,
moment that sun
felt
and
like-
Jim died forever.
I felt like that was slightly ambiguous. Like, did she drop it on purpose or accidentally?
I think that's a subjective experience. You are gifted as a viewer of Lost. It's up for you to decide.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe to be informed by what they cut to later with her affair.
Because from her face, like, I couldn't tell if it was like, oh my god, I can't believe I did it, or oh no.
No, I mean I don't think she did it on purpose.
Okay. It was an accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. Like, her dad like knows.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell he knows, and he's gonna fire the maid just to teach her a lesson.
Yeah. It's in a small way, it's good parenting.
Yeah,
Because I mean, when she actually realizes what that could mean for the maid, who loses their job and probably has a family, and like that's a huge thing that lie, So that's
yeah,
it's an interesting gambit to play of like, oh, you think this? Fine, I'll play the game, little girl.
yeah, exactly.
He's just callous enough to play that game with another human's life, to
Mhm.
teach his daughter a lesson.
Yeah, yeah.
So when Danielle saw that smoke, I wonder if she thought the others were coming. Come on, every time she sees smoke, right?
Yeah, this time she just blew it off. Run, hide, or take a nap. He's really not counting on your signal.
No. Does he even remember he's supposed to meet up with them?
They saw the signal like 2 seconds before the others showed up, so it doesn't really matter. I'm pretty sure at this point they don't even remember there was a signal.
Yeah. It's not about the signal anymore.
Yeah,
What does Jen want for them just to leave?
I think so.
Thanks for translating that, son. We weren't sure.
Some gestures are universal.
Ooh, you catch that?
Yep.
Oh, that's so great. Another lie.
Yep. I like how she looked at him when she said
Yeah.
it. In the old days when Chin didn't understand, you could get away with stuff like that.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta learn English quick. My wife just lying to me left and right. I gotta get.
Hmm.
Who opened that door?
Yeah, that was weird.
Because no one's out there now.
Yeah,
Is it just like you knock on doors and they open?
I guess. I don't know. The smoke monster, that was really strange.
Yeah, because before she would just go in and out herself, and
Yeah,
this time she had to knock. That was a weird.
yeah,
Colleen, it wasn't Colleen. She's just coming down.
yeah. Definitely not Colleen.
Paula Malcolmson.
Hmm. Uh,
Yeah, she was kind of underused on this. I saw her
Extremely.
after this later, and she was in Deadwood, right? So
Yeah, she was in Deadwood. She's a huge character in Deadwood, and also in Caprica.
yeah, in Caprica, she's great.
Yeah, yeah, she's really good. But oh yeah, right. That's what they say here. They could find us.
Hmm.
Like that becomes the reason to take the boat.
Mm. But what does it matter? They're not doing anything over here anyway.
Yeah,
I
it
guess they're
really.
building. I guess they're building the airstrip. That's about
Yeah,
it.
they're building the airstrip and they're trying to get Ben some
Oh, that
surgery.
boat!
Oh, that boat.
You see the eye twitch? That was
Yep.
awesome.
Hey, Michael Emerson is great, even when the
Michael
line
Emerson
is
is killing it.
ridiculous.
Yeah, he's twitching.
I mean, he knows how to deliver a line like that.
Yeah, I don't know if he'll ever have a better role. Unfortunately.
I doubt it. I doubt it. It was perfect for him.
Hmm.
It plays to his strengths. I think anything he plays is gonna be some kind that's good is probably gonna be some kind of variation.
Yeah, it reminds me of Christoph Waltz of just like
Yeah,
being very good in this one thing and just like yeah, you're just kind of gonna always need to be like this to be good.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, he was in Saw. His character in Saw was kind of similar.
Hmm.
Except he wasn't the mastermind. Spoiler alert. Kate's still in that dress.
It's on the dress.
Sawyer's got to get a lunch. Yeah, now I remember this, like where you find out that like they have a relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember thinking like it really brought the others. I mean, the book club already did this, but it really brought them down to earth. Like it became, just kind of standard drama.
Yeah, and I was just thinking, looking at that scene, like I'm thinking these guys aren't a military outfit.
Yeah,
They're normal civilians who just are brandishing weapons. Like,
yeah,
they're not like Saeed. They're not
exactly.
military trained or anything, but they seem very venerable. But it's really just all appearances.
Yeah, yeah. It makes them seem a lot less intimidating, I think,
Mm-hmm.
when you see them in those private moments.
Making muffins.
Making muffins. Though I love the muffins. But yeah, but Juliet's her own thing. In that case they were on mission.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so it just seems like it's weird that they have a moment like that. And then like Sawyer sees and it's like weird.
Yeah, it was a little weird. Can you repeat that, guys? We were talking. What would you say?
She said she came to be with
Whoa, that's
Jin.
not Jin.
And just in time, just as she declares her love for Jin, we cut to her affair.
Yeah. Just in case you didn't know that, audience.
I remember this guy on the forum who really insisted that they never actually had sex because we don't see it happen.
Oh wow.
It was like we didn't see it. And I'm like, what did you want to see?
Yeah.
And what he pointed out, like he's wearing pants here,
Mm-hmm.
but like it's on ABC, guys.
Yeah.
He's not gonna get up without
Well,
pants.
and it's fairly clear. Sun is not at least wearing a top, so
Yeah,
she's at least partially naked under there. I mean, that's all you need to know. I mean, yeah. And even if they didn't have sex, she's cheating in an emotional level at least. So
yeah. But it's like if they're in bed that little clothed, like that's the
yeah,
inference you're supposed to draw,
yeah.
even if you don't see. I
And
mean,
that's the thing, right? Like if they hadn't had sex, and she's like, the problem is I'm married, and then he could have said, well, good thing we didn't sleep together.
hmm
If that was, they would have made that obvious if that's what they wanted us to get out of it.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, right. And that same person had this conspiracy. Not only did she not sleep with this guy, but the baby was Michael's.
Oh wow.
Yeah, Ji-yeon was Michael's daughter.
Oh jeez, forgot
Yeah,
about that.
yeah. That was a real theory, and
Daddy, he's just giving me English lessons.
this is how you speak English,
Yeah.
naked. Didn't you know?
Is this not right? I don't know things. God, this was so strange.
Yeah,
Whole idea. This whole idea, Justin.
yeah. I know. It's
You
really
could have
weird.
shot him. You could have all of.
Yep.
Oh, Sawyer's no help. Come on, Sawyer. There it is. There it is.
Oh, Sawyer.
He's like, oh, don't be selfish. Okay, go.
This is also like very mundane.
Yeah. A little comedy.
Yep. Yep. No, but Sawyer's always entertaining.
Yeah.
I I just want to note for future reference that uh that Pickett specifically said Kate will break the rocks and Sawyer will haul them.
Yep.
And we will see them do that later. And
Hmm.
then just remember that for the future when Kate makes a certain assertion about who does what.
Okay. Okay.
Because it bothers me to this day.
It's a weird thing to make her break the rocks.
It is. It
I mean,
is.
and I get the idea of like, well, if you fill a wheelbarrow full of rocks, it's gonna be really heavy, so Sawyer should carry it. But to break a rock, you need to be really strong.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
So
true.
put your strength in the breaking of the rocks, and then don't fill up the wheelbarrow so much that it's too heavy for Kate. Problem
Hmm.
solved.
Yeah, that sounds like a good idea. But really, they just need two Sawyers.
That will solve this whole
They see
show.
cloning. Why don't they have cloning? I'm sure
Why?
Dharma did some cloning.
Yeah, that's how they had all those rabbits.
Exactly, the rabbits were totally clones. That was obvious.
Obvious.
Look at the eyes. Oh, we haven't got to that episode yet. Spoiler alert. Sorry, we don't know
Is
about
this
that.
is Jin wearing a wig? I always look at his hair in the scene and go, I don't know if that's your hair.
Is it really a wig? Yeah,
Well,
maybe. I think if you look, I think he has longer hair on the island, and so maybe they
yeah,
did it to try to hide it, and so it looks
yeah,
kind of strange.
yeah. It's a wig.
Wow, he's wigging like Naomi.
And I've killed all my sons. I guess if you're listening to this podcast, not watching along, you're missing some of these subtitled scenes. I hope.
Oh, that's a good point. Audio doesn't really convey this
Yeah,
unless
I
you
hope the
speak
Korean
Korean really
is
well.
doing you guys. Sorry, we could be, describing the scenes, but that'd be too interesting, right?
Yeah, exactly.
There'd be no mystery left for you.
Yeah. I'm sure you can remember what was going on in this scene.
Yeah.
It was Jin and Sun's dad.
Jin is chopping the head off a fish now, back on the sailboat.
He's not doing that in Korean though.
No, but they won't. They can't see that.
Oh, that's a good point. Boat is another boat. Oh, they found the Polyferry. Oh, Jin, you always say it's the others.
Mm-hmm. Liar. Oh well, I guess you're right. Guess Dharma built it.
Wait, what did he say?
He said whoever built it's not here now.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I was
that's
thinking,
true.
well, no, the others are using it, but no,
Yeah,
Dharma built it.
yeah.
Why is he saying of course? Like he's so sure.
I know. He said that like that was a stupid question.
Yeah.
Like, are you like in danger a lot? Like, is it really stupid to wonder? All right, so you see Kate breaking, Sawyer
Breaking
hauling.
rocks. Yeah.
Very clear.
So I'm a little fuzzy on where the storyline goes here. Why? Why do they have them?
What?
I know why Bid wants. Okay, I'll say it later. The
Okay.
Alex scene's coming up. This is interesting.
Oh, right. This scene.
This scene.
Oh, yes. Oh, Alex. She's so plucky.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, and this was another thing. Like giving her Carl also brought her and Rousseau down to earth.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm Ben's daughter.
That's a bit weird that like Ben raided her closet or something and like gave the dress to Kate, but I guess I don't know. They didn't
Well,
have anyone else her size or
what
something.
else? Yeah, what's he gonna give her?
But it's just a bit I don't know. It's a bit strange. Yeah,
Like,
see it
he gets taking all the fun out of this,
Pickett
breaking.
just gets annoying at a certain point. It's like, all right already, like it's like he hates Sawyer before anything even has happened.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is he's got. You're wondering why he's got this attitude, and then later he gets a reason for it,
Yeah,
but he doesn't have that reason yet, so it's a little weird.
exactly.
I know a liar when I see one. Ooh, there it is.
Wait, but what is he lying about? Oh, right. Okay. Sorry. They make it clear.
Nah. So that's why I said, of course, it's safe. He just wanted them to go there.
Ah, okay. Okay.
2? He,
He has a really yeah, wow.
he's gonna incapacitate like at least 3 people here, if
Yep.
not 5 or 10. Like, wow.
Yep. Yeah, he has like a whole plan.
Mm-hmm.
None of it's gonna work, but he's got a plan. You think about lying again, son?
Is this? Does the sun shine on the beach?
Was that a pun?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
She does when she's in her bikini. That would be the joke there.
Ah, okay, of course. A woman reborn.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you wearing a wig today, honey?
It'd be so great if he took the wig off. It's like his business wig, like part of it's part of his suit, just like rush.
Yeah, he's got his like casual hair for home.
There's also another wig.
Of course, it's always a wig. Come on, no one has real hair anymore.
I know. If you're not wearing a wig, you just don't care.
Oh, so I guess this is the. Oh, wait a minute, hold on. Okay, no, 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 it's after the first thing, right? Because in the first one, he thought he was supposed to just deliver a message, and he didn't really understand.
Mm-hmm.
So now he knows what he's supposed to do.
Wait, in the first one, first flashback, he's told to deliver a message. He ends up beating the guy up, right?
I think at first, is that what happened?
Like, does he talk to the guy and then but doesn't beat him up? Then he comes back later and beats him up.
Yeah,
I
that's
think.
what I want to say happened. I'm
Yeah,
not
yeah.
100% sure, but I think at first he just talked to the guy and they were like, "You just talked to him?" And so then he went back.
And then beat him up. So
Yeah.
here, what's going on here?
So now he's being told to deliver a message. I think he knows that means he's supposed to kill him.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. There it is. Okay.
Yeah. But of course, since it's Son's dad, he's going to have him go after what's his name?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a nice little reveal.
Yeah. Without him knowing it, which I think is really Crazy.
Yeah, like it'd be one thing if he said this guy's sleeping with your wife,
Mm-hmm.
and I want you to go kill. It's
Yeah.
like he's not telling them why.
Exactly. Yeah, it's strange. It's really strange.
Bit of the maybe some honor there, like he doesn't want Jen to, because if
Right.
that son cheated on, he might leave her,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right.
and it's something he can hold over son to keep her in line.
And he's sort of able to get his revenge without knowing it.
Yeah. Wait, why would he say that now? What is he talking about? Oh, is it not? It's not about the flashback, but it's just.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's just right now by lying to him about the others coming, like not telling him why they were lighting the fire. Not really.
Not really. I
What
just realized what
you
you meant by that.
Yeah, yeah. What he doesn't know is all they really want is the boat. They're actually just helping them find the boat. Yeah, and that turns out not to be true anyway. Who's that guy chatting up Juliet?
Just totally chatting it up. They're sitting there drinking water and hanging out, not doing any work. And then Sawyer and Kate over here sweating in the sun. Oh, she shared her water. That's what they're gonna end up together.
Oh, Blondie.
I can never forget your face. This other one over here, eh.
Meh. Give me 3 years.
Oh, that's right. He raises the water,
Yep.
and he's like, he could have given something to Kate.
Yep.
Nah.
That nobody gets nothing.
Oh. Oh, they're not breaking up rocks. Oh, I always thought it was literally just a bunch of rocks, and they needed to break them into smaller pieces. They're breaking up the cement. I mean, there are rocks obviously buried there, but it's more just the ground.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Okay,
the
okay.
ground.
Now I can see why they would. It's fine for Kate to do that because she's just axe picking it. I was just had in my head literally breaking rocks.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that would be kind of strange.
See, after this, he should hate Sawyer.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a great move.
Oops.
It didn't work, but he
Well,
got an upgrade.
he did,
I think I know how to use this one.
but
And see, what's interesting is we know Juliet would not shoot her right now,
yeah, it's true.
but when we're watching the show for the first time, you don't know that.
At the time, you don't know. Yeah, for all we know, she'll totally do it.
Yeah.
And it's like, God damn it, not Kate again.
Mm-hmm. She got herself caught
Yep.
through no fault of her own, but still.
Yeah, so now you'll see he is quite upset.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess it's just like the Colleen thing takes it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's already there, but the transition always seemed weird to me because like Sawyer had nothing to do with what happened to Colleen.
I think we get a little bit. I think it's like Pickett wants to be doing something else than dealing with these guys, and I think we get a little bit of that when it's like Jacob Shepard wasn't even on Jacob's list.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's frustrated with how things are being operated, but we don't know that at this point.
Right.
So it kind of works, but yeah, it's a little jarring.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. And he's just taking out his frustration on
Yeah,
Sawyer.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Is she making tea?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Okay.
When in doubt, make tea. Oh shit!
Of course there's a tarp there. There's always tarps.
Always tarps, blue tarp.
Tons of tarps, and they're always blue.
Well, that's how they come off the tarp tree. They grow blue.
I forgot that tarp trees were native to the South Pacific. Hmm. That was put there to throw him through it.
Yeah.
It wasn't even there the day before. What happened?
They installed it just then to be thrown through. Yeah, this is a great this is a great overlapping
Yeah,
of what's the word storylines or
yeah. It's interesting. I'm not 100% sure. Does he know who Jin is?
I think the scene this storyline in this scene plays best if if Jay thinks Jin is Sun's husband
Yeah.
and Jin thinks he's only doing this or knows he's only doing this for the business reason.
I think that's it, but I can't remember if like earlier in the show we really know if he knows what Jin looks like. I don't think he's ever
Mhm.
had a scene with him before.
No, I wouldn't expect that he knows what Jin looks like because that he knows that that's Jin because he knows what he looks like. I would just think he would assume that
He's just
because
assuming it.
if I'm not
Okay.
mistaken, I didn't catch the whole scene. I'll wait for this thing to happen though, so
Yeah,
we can
yeah, go ahead
go
and
into
wait.
it.
I think based on what he does here, we can probably say that he assumed that was her husband.
So now that he's dead, I was gonna say I don't I didn't catch what Pike was saying about when he sent Jin on this mission, but I don't think Jay did anything wrong, right? Like he doesn't know Pike is sending somebody after him, right? Because I don't think he did anything wrong business wise,
No, 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 no. No, 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 no.
right?
I think you're right.
You're
Yeah.
agreeing with. Okay, so
Yeah.
then Jay should just assume that that's Jen, that that's Sun's husband.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, he has the necklace like I think that's what he was thinking.
Yeah,
So I guess
exactly.
it's an interesting scene where like they're both thinking different things and
Again, back to our master theory, the master theme of loss with
yeah.
subjective experience. These guys are in the same scene, doing the same thing, having two different experiences about what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And they both think the other one knows what they know.
If they're making assumptions, yeah, based
Yeah.
on their own assumptions, yeah. Tea's ready. That's our little kettle's
uh,
on.
that's the badass sun line. All right, so Saeed is gonna kill four of them and take two.
hmm
Ooh.
I read your file, and the file is like the human soul.
Mhm. Who is the enemy?
I don't know if she can answer that actually. I love that.
Yep.
The engine starts, she shoots.
Yep.
Her file was wrong.
Yep. Yeah, and they had no idea any of that was happening.
Yeah, they're just sitting there waiting.
They're waiting on the beach. They're like, wait on the boat because it's safe. But yeah, I guess they use the submarine.
What do you mean?
to sneak up on the boat.
Oh, I assume. I guess that's fair, but I assume they just. I assumed Jin and Jin and Say were just looking in the wrong direction, but yeah, maybe they used the submarine. But that seemed like it would make a lot of noise. I don't know how
Yeah,
loud
that's
these
true.
things are.
That's true. I was trying to figure out why they didn't see them. But yeah, maybe they were just looking in the opposite
Yeah, they
direction.
weren't looking towards the boat and the guy, and they went the other way.
Well, they should have been looking towards a fire, but yeah, I don't know. We're not ready to drown yet.
Ah, we'll drown later, honey. I'll never leave you again.
I'll
Except
never
for
leave you again, of
a couple
course.
more times, and then finally never. How are they floating up in the water? They weren't
No
even.
more boats for you, son. No more boats. The last boat.
Hmm.
I broke the glass ballerina. Is it too late to rehire the maid?
It's not my place to tell Jen that you had an affair. It's my place to get your the person you were cheating with killed.
Yeah, and does she know that Jin was the one who
No.
got him to kill himself? Like the it makes
Although that
Sun's
was
dad look
Jen's
like
car, but I guess maybe that was a company car and son never saw the car. I don't know. The car got
yeah,
damaged. And
yeah.
there should be some, police reports about, this guy fell on this guy's car, but whatever.
Yeah, that's true. But it really makes Sun's dad look like a huge manipulator in that situation.
Yeah. Well, he is, I think.
Yeah, but it's strange because the story's not about him at all.
Hmm. Yeah, this is supposed to somehow tie to the glass ballerina and that whole lesson. I guess I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't think it really works. I think it's kind of a stretch because it's not. It's
Oh, that's what it is. No, I think the idea is if Sun is lying and being deceitful, and doesn't, and then the dad finds out about it. If Sun doesn't do the right thing, which is to tell the truth, then he will take matters into his own hands and punish someone that she might care about. I think that's the general symmetry there.
yeah. No, that's definitely it. But I still feel like the analogy is a little bit off.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's it.
I think what would have helped if and I didn't catch that the dialogue in the scene, but if Pike had said, tell Jin the truth or else, and then she doesn't tell Jin, then the dad gets Jay killed, and then I think that would be like breaking the glass ballerina, not telling the truth, and then firing the maid.
Yeah.
Mm.
You're not wrong.
See, that's an interesting observation.
Yeah, it is. And it's weird that he thinks Juliet was the hardcore one.
That's the thing. Maybe he's right. Maybe Julia would have just shot Kate. I don't know.
I feel like based on the scene, we're supposed to think that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're supposed to think Sawyer's
I
assessment is
think
correct.
I think she's not a murderer, but she might have shot Kate. She might have shot Kate in that moment.
Yeah, yeah, maybe so. Maybe just not to kill her.
Yeah. No, I mean like she's not a murderous person in general, but in that specific moment, if she had to do something like that, she
Hmm.
would, like just as a practical matter.
Yeah.
But and then felt guilty about it forever.
Hmm. Oh
Ooh.
yeah,
This actually explains why Ben has been in this room every time we've seen him so
that's
far.
true.
Oh,
That's true. Yeah, it's a reveal because they showed like him coming out of the room, but they didn't show what was in it.
yeah.
And it's like, oh, of course he knows everything they're talking about. He planned all of this.
Mm-hmm. What has she got in her hand? Oh, that's him.
Yep. That chair.
Brought my own chair and I stepped over it in a strange way.
Yeah, that was really dramatic. That was very Riker.
Yes, that was the Riker. What do they call that? The Riker leg raise or something?
Yeah, the Riker like right.
Ha! Thanks for pointing that out.
We got it, but thanks for explaining in detail. Well, you did say you were done lying.
Mm-hmm.
Saeed and his luxurious locks. I love this. He's about to lie.
Yeah.
That's true. And that's a lie.
There it is.
Oh, Ben. You really, I believe this,
But you
because.
know what? You know what? I wonder if he's not lying because, well, I mean, he's it's not the truth, but I wonder if he's not lying because since he was healed in the fountain
Mm,
water, that erases memory, right?
did it erase his whole memory? I
I don't,
mean,
I don't know. It sounded plausible at first, but I don't.
I mean,
Maybe he does. Does he remember nothing before then? I don't know.
I feel like he must remember stuff before that.
I don't know.
I mean, he has that thing. He has a thing with Richard about the birthdays and the dolls with Annie and stuff. Like that was before that. He
Mm,
must. He must.
okay. Okay.
I just assumed he wouldn't remember like the stuff that happened around that time.
Yeah, that's
You know,
fair.
the stuff that would have caused retcon problems.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Seeing certain people and all that.
Exactly. Yeah, recognizing them and ooh,
Ooh.
that's an interesting question. When Jack gets that face, he's almost always wrong.
Uh huh. His confident face.
Yeah. Unfortunately. And now he's confident again. Hey, you can fake that. Yikes. I will take you home, all the way home. Oh man. So I don't hear anything right now. Uh, are you still there?
Hello?
Okay.
Oh, was I muted? Oop, let me
I
unmute
I didn't hear
myself.
you for the last like 30 seconds to a minute.
Oh, geez, I said so many interesting things.
Oh, well, could you repeat them all in
I don't
chronological
think I
order?
can. Yeah, I don't remember. Made some comment about Jack. Oh, if he believed the World Series. I was wondering why you didn't laugh at any of my jokes. I was like, wow, I guess I'm getting rusty here.
Yeah,
Uh,
sorry.
I was saying, what if Jack had believed in the Red Sox winning, but didn't believe that Bush was reelected. So and then Ben's like,
Oh
"Oh,
yeah.
I didn't bring that tape."
Oh shit.
Like,
Yeah,
damn it.
but of course, they're the other, so like they know that this was something Christian used to say. And so they
Mhm.
know that this will be the thing that Jack
Yeah.
won't believe. So that's the tape they have ready. Yeah,
Hmm.
no, it would be cool if they had some weird thing like that, but yeah, that would be a weird show.
Yeah. Okay, so Glass Ballerina.
That was a big deal at the time, by the way. The
What?
the ending.
Yeah. Well, them going home and then getting footage from the outside world and all that stuff. Like it. Yeah, it was a big deal.
And saying like I'll take you home.
Hmm.
Like they can access the outside world. B, like you're gonna get off the island.
And
And
I, and I, yeah, and that's what I said when you could hear me was it's interesting. He said, "I'll take you home, not I'll let you leave the island, but I'll take you home."
mhm.
But yeah, and then that other line when he says, if you do what I ask you when the time comes," and I said, "My back surgery."
See, I would have laughed at that
Thank you.
because that's exactly what he means.
Yeah, because you think, oh well, when the time, oh, what does he want him to do? Oh, if he follows his instructions, what is he? Yeah, but it's like
Yeah.
when the time, I want to break you down and
Mhm.
make myself sympathetic to you, so that when I ask you for a really big favor, you'll say yes. I mean, that really is the general plot line here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the plan, and I believe he's gonna say that in a few episodes. Like he's
Yeah.
gonna he's gonna say, "I had this great plan to break you," and he'll explain it. But yeah, you're totally right. That's the idea.
Yeah.
I think I think that uh I think Juliet, sorry, I think Kate and Sawyer uh are kind of backup. I think he knows he can use them if he needs to, but he's gonna try plan A first. Or
Hmm.
maybe he's just running all the plans at the same time and whatever works, he'll let it ride.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think he's very good at rolling with the punches
yeah,
and thinking on his feet. So I think that's why he's monitoring them, so he gets to see what he can exploit. If something comes up between Sawyer and Kate, he
yeah,
can use against Jack. He'll do that. I think he's got his overall plan, but he's willing to tweak it and change things as it goes, depending on what he wants to get done. So.
yeah,
But yeah, yeah, but I think it's not unlike what Sawyer said about taking an extra hostage is to make the other one cooperate. So I think you know, yeah, like you were saying, he can use Sawyer and Kate against Jack if he needs to.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And he does.
Yeah, and he does. Well, look at that.
It
It's
totally
like I've
works.
seen the show before.
Yeah, so uh it doesn't seem very shocking now because we've known it the whole time, but you know it put into perspective like some things, like some of the furniture and stuff, like some of the stuff they had. It's like, okay, well, they can actually leave, so
Yeah.
not that that makes it easy to transport furniture, but it at least makes it possible.
Well, and then the most inexplicable piece of furniture on the show, I think, was the crib with the with
Oceanic.
the 815, yeah,
Yep.
Oceanic mobile. It's
Yep.
like I don't know where you guys got that. Come on.
Yeah. Yeah, that was just over the top. And with the song, like Jesus guys.
Yeah.
Like how like yeah. It was surreal. Sometimes the others just it's like you see them in person and it's like how do they pull this shit off? Like
Hmm.
they when you look at them up close, they look very inept and very um kind of hapless. And then
Hmm.
and then like sometimes they pull off these amazing plans.
So what you're saying is, when we actually see them doing things in scenes, it's real. They're really inept and down to earth. But when
Yeah.
they do stuff off screen, it's really interesting and inexplicable.
Yeah. That's exactly
Hmm.
what I would say.
I think that's the pattern.
That is the pattern. You brought up Ethan earlier, when we see Ethan on screen, he's Ethan the plumber. You
Yeah.
got a problem with your plumbing? Call Ethan. He'll
He'll come right over with a smile and a wrench.
you know, but like somehow that guy kidnapped simultaneously Charlie and Claire. He managed to
Hmm.
drag them both against their will and then subdue Claire and hang Charlie from a tree and then like get Claire. Like I don't know how he pulled that shit off. He's just a plumber guy, you
Man, I don't
know?
know why, but I just had a funny song that jumped in my head. Like, "Hey Charlie, what you doing up in that tree?" And then he's like, "Got hung by Ethan." There's a funny song there.
Oh, I agree. And also the guy he killed when he came back and they were like he broke like every bone in his body.
Oh yeah.
It's like what the fuck? Like
That's the thing when he takes Charlie and Claire. It's like, why not just give him a gun and say he had them at gunpoint?
yeah,
It's so simple, guys. But instead, they go and they make him seem supernatural. And then when he's not
yeah.
supernatural, they're like, "Hey, who said he was supernatural? We didn't say
Yeah.
he was supernatural.
Yeah, why would you ever think that?
Why'd you guess that? You're
That's
crazy."
crazy. Yeah. That makes no sense. Come on, supernatural. It's Ethan the plumber.
We got to come up with a good word for that. We gotta, because it happens so many
It
times.
does. It
Uh,
does. Yeah, there needs to be a good term, I think.
Yeah, I kind of want to give it to Locke, kind of reference the tree thing.
Mhm.
Oh, maybe something like, I was gonna say something like branching. It needs to be some kind of word like that. But it's
Wait, what tree thing are you talking about?
when Sun runs into the tree and then he's like,
Oh, okay, okay. Right,
like
right.
like when something seems obvious and then it becomes like, well, why would you think it's that?
Mhm. Oh,
It's some weird turn. It's some weird turn in the variables.
yeah.
Might be a good word for that. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, like like running into a tree or something, like just something that brings up that idea.
Yeah. I have no idea. Some kind of portmanteau, maybe, because it needs
Mm,
to combine the two ideas. If the word doesn't already exist, but that's a lot of information to pack into one word,
yeah,
especially if it's not German.
yeah. Huh. Anyway, we'll think of something. Hey, if you have suggestions out there, listeners, email us at
Yeah,
lostlowdown@gmail.com.
please. It's still open.
So let's define the term. What's the term we're trying to get a word for?
It's when the the show like almost explicitly makes you think something, and then they turn around later and they reveal or show something and they kind of act like why did you think it was that?
So it's a combination of, you think it's one thing, it's revealed it's not that thing, but on top of that, you shouldn't have thought it was the first thing.
They're kind of blasé about it. Like they don't
Yeah.
really they don't make it a big point that, oh, and it was this. It wasn't that other thing. They're just like, yeah, it's this.
Yeah, exactly.
Get
Like it.
over it.
Yeah,
Like, what are you staring at? Like, move on. It's very, um, you know, I don't know. It's truncated. Like they just uh, they don't turn it into a dramatic moment.
yeah,
It's just like, yeah, the answer. I mean, come on, it's an answer. Like, what did you expect?
yeah. I almost want to use the word like flip flop.
Yeah,
They flopped it, because they just kind of
yeah,
like, here's the answer, and it's not that big a deal. It's
yeah,
like they just flopped it. I don't know.
yeah. Flip flop seems like a reasonable.
Flip flop.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's not. But flip flop, it's got to be something a bit different than flip flop,
I
because
think I think that's
that
close though.
implies. But flip flop, I think, implies some sort of equality between the two parts. Um, this is negate. This is where the second part negates the first part.
That's
That's why
true.
it's so specific. It's about the first part doesn't even factor in anymore.
Yeah,
It was a mistake to even think of the first part.
right,
Whereas in a flip flop, both parts are valid, and you're just going from one to the other.
right,
But this is where one part is not actually valid, only by defining the second part.
right.
It's so specific.
Yeah, it is, which is why I feel like it's hard to find a word for that.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
there should be one because, as you said, this is like extremely common on Lost.
I kind of want to say, I kind of want to use a verb and say like they Lindeloft it, but I don't want to put all the burden and blame on Dave.
Yeah. Because surely he's not solely responsible for
Yeah,
every instance of
but
that.
his name works well. Maybe they
True.
accused it or something. They I
Yeah.
don't maybe I don't know, something there kind of works.
Yeah. Yeah. That would make sense. Yeah, Damon Lindelof gets attacked enough. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
I don't want to add to that.
I know. It just seems sad to like have a
Like,
kind of negative term for him.
yeah, yeah, I don't want to do that. You're
Like,
right.
oh yeah, Lindelof did.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like a retcon, but it's for yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's what it is. It's kind of like a retcon. That's what it is. Oh, it's like the cousin to a retcon.
It's
That's
it's
what.
a it's a really like boring retcon. It's
Yeah,
like the retcon is like, no, actually the story was a lot less interesting than you were thinking. It was just this.
yeah. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna come up with something. I'm getting close. I'm getting close, but not on the podcast. But I'll get something.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Anxiously await that.
similar. It's a similar in the in the family tree of ideas. It's in the retcon family.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I think I agree because I think part of it is the kind of coy way that they act like they never made you think the first thing.
What about calling it a lost con? So not only does it bring up a retcon, but you were kind of conned, right?
Yeah.
Because it's of a con, and it's
Yeah.
very specific. Maybe a lost con.
Yeah. I think that works.
Lost
That
con. Okay, maybe we'll use that for now.
Yeah.
So, Glass Ballerina. This was an okay episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I, it wasn't as horrible as I remember.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I think it wasn't as good as the first one. It
No,
wasn't quite as interesting.
Jack had nothing to do.
Jack definitely had nothing to do. Actually, most of the characters had nothing to do. I mean, the only real action was the whole thing with Colleen and Sun in the boat.
Yeah, and
Um,
we actually didn't get back to the beach either, so we have no idea what
yeah,
those guys are going. I guess maybe next episode we'll see that.
yeah. They're splitting it up. I mean, this is one thing that I think is really pronounced starting in season 3 and for the rest of the show. Like they really segment things, and so you
Mhm.
end up spending one episode with one group, one episode with another group, and right now there's like 3 groups. I think at this point, at the end of the episode, like Saeed and Jin and Sun, they're heading back, so there will just be 2 again. But that they continue that pattern. going forward, where they have like different groups in different places, and the plots sort of move concurrently, don't necessarily intersect until later, and it's they never really go back to the old days where it's all of them on the beach.
Hmm.
I mean, I think briefly it does happen towards the end of the season, but it isn't long before they're breaking up again.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because
Which is good. Keeps things moving.
it's true.
Because
It's
yeah, they
true.
were bored when they were just lounging on the beach playing cards and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. But I think it really does change the character of the show. Like it starts to feel really different from the early episodes
Yeah,
because of the way they skip around the island, and we don't really have like as much of a home base anymore.
yeah,
We spend a lot of time in random other locations, like wherever stuff is happening at the time, which is logical. Obviously, we shouldn't look at the beach and just like watch people doing nothing. That
yeah.
wouldn't be a very good episode of Lost.
Ha! But enough of fire plus water.
Oh,
Ooh,
oh,
what? Who said
oh, it hurts. It hurts.
that? Ouch.
Yeah, so the next episode is further instructions, which I remember even less fondly than this one. I would say this one, uh, watching it again, yeah, it's not that bad. I mean, it wasn't great, but it was okay. It did its job.
Yeah,
I think it was good enough. And the ending, I mean, it does fall flat now, I think, but it was a pretty cool ending at the time. I think that was, they knew what they were doing. They give you an episode that's like kind of mediocre, and then they give you a little something at the end
yeah,
to bring you back. That's the old school Lost formula.
yeah. It's like, oh, if you were bored this whole time, here's something interesting.
Yeah, exactly. And they did that. They did that quite a bit, especially I think in the later seasons they toned that down and they spread out the interesting a little more.
Yeah.
But I think in these days it was sort of necessary because they had 22 episodes a season, and it's like we're gonna have to fill some time here, but we'll sprinkle in the interesting bits to keep you coming back.
Hmm.
But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see the next episode because uh, I think it's a really strange and problematic episode.
All right. Well, let's watch it now. Let's go. Come on. Further instructions. Yeah. This episode, like I said, it wasn't as dreadful as I remember. But having seen everything, these, going from a really action packed, intriguing episode to a lesser one is okay because where we're gonna end up. So
That's
it's less of
true.
a big deal to be disappointed and go, oh, now I gotta wait another week after this
Hmm.
crappy Sun and Jin episode. Like. But in terms of the actual story here, the Sun and Jin stuff was fairly interesting. Jay and how they resolved that was interesting, and still,
Yeah.
they still need to have that meeting. Where like in the afterlife, all the losties get together and like just go to a bar and talk about everything that happened from their perspective so they can get everything out in the open and
Hmm.
then so Jen can go like, yeah, and then son, your dad made me go kill this guy Jay, and
Hmm.
what?
Hmm. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Where you were a part of that? Okay, huh? No, that's why you came home with a human-sized dent in the car.
Yeah, yeah,
Mystery
yeah.
solved.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he traded the car out. You're right. The car is a problem. I feel like
Yeah.
they shouldn't have had him land on Jin's car,
Because
but
you know what? Yeah, it's a great moment, but you know what? That car would have been like the police. First of all, the body wouldn't have been moved for a while. Jin would not
yeah,
have been able to take the car, and then like the police might have wanted to impound. There's been there. It wasn't like you can just throw the body off and drive home.
right.
So yeah, I don't know what they did about the car.
I
I don't
don't
know.
think they really cared about the car.
Yeah, why didn't he? Why didn't they just have it be a taxi? Why
Yeah,
was it
they
even?
could have done that.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, but in general, except for the first flashback, which I still like, I get the point, but I still feel like it doesn't. I don't know. It doesn't quite work as well for me as I feel like it should. I mean, I feel like its connection to the other part is still slightly tenuous. I mean, she was lying, and I sort of get that, and there were consequences for others. I sort of get that, but I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I want it to be more on the nose. Maybe that's my problem. That's a little strange. But in general, I would say the flashback was pretty well constructed. Like
Hmm.
like it had really interesting conflicts,
Yeah.
and I can really appreciate that now. I don't think I really did at the time, but like the way the different characters' knowledge like influences the way they behave in the scenes, like it makes them
Hmm.
interesting to watch.
Well, and think about the idea that what if Jin did know that what if in that scene he's got the gun to Jay's head and Jay's like, I'm sorry I slept with your wife. I mean,
Yeah,
like that would have changed everything and maybe even pushed Jin over the edge to actually shoot him.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So and it's really good for Jin that he killed himself in the way he did because not only that he killed himself because Pike wanted the guy dead and Jin needed to do it, but that he was looked like he was thrown out of a window,
right,
versus like some other way that's clearly suicide, and then Pike would have known Jin had nothing to do with it, and then that would
yeah,
have been not a resolution to that story.
yeah. So now
But
that I
yeah,
think about it, like I think the police like would have been maybe a little suspicious that his apartment, was like wrecked, like, and they could probably tell that he had some of those wounds before he.
actually, Jin would have gotten out of the car not only carrying a weapon, but probably a bit bloody, and
Yeah,
his knuckles from crashing and
yeah,
beating. But yeah, I mean, any cop half worth his salt could have been
yeah.
like, okay, yeah, something's weird
It would have
here.
been suspicious. I think it really would have looked like. I mean, if he weren't down there in the car when it happened, it would have looked like he threw him out.
Yeah,
Like that's what I would have expected. But yeah, they didn't really. The story didn't really have time to address those concerns.
yeah. It's almost to me like it might not have been as good of a shot, but Jin gets in his car and drives off and just misses getting hit by Jay or something like that.
Mm,
And Jin looks in
yeah,
his rearview mirror and stops and sees the dead body on the ground.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, I think that would have worked. But yeah,
Yeah.
they couldn't.
It may not have looked as good to shoot, but it would have made more sense, I think.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think they just went for
Yeah, they didn't expect people to be podcasting about that scene.
it. Well, they were wrong because we've
that
now podcasted about that scene 2 times,
she
if not
only.
more. If not more, obviously more.
Yeah, yeah, at least more.
I'm sure that wasn't the last time we ever mentioned it.
Sometimes some number between a million and a billion, I think.
Wow, that's a lot.
Too high? Okay.
I think that might be too much, even for us.
All right. Well, anything else on the Glass Ballerina or Lost in general?
No, I've said everything I have to say about Lost in general,
All right.
and this episode.
All right. Well, until next time. Thanks and namaste.
Namaste and good luck.